Hi, I am Silent Stupid. I'm coming at you here from Empire Total War. Just a few things that I want to go ahead and make clear is that I'm using the Darth mod here. So music, sound effects, all of that stuff that's coming from the game. I'm not altering it or changing it in any way. But I just played this battle in the campaign that I'm currently undertaking, and thought that it was a good way to sort of show off the mechanics of Empire Total War. The campaign I'm playing is the Kingdom of Spain, starting in 1700. In the winter of 1700, the Dutch Republic issued a declaration of war against the Kingdom of Spain. So once again, Spain and Holland are at war. The equivalent of this would have been lingering hostilities from the War of the Grand Alliance, or the opening shots of what would effectively equivalently be the War of the Spanish Succession. Because of course King Carlos II is the ruler of Spain, King Carlos the Bewitched as he's known. This here is the commanding officer of the Spanish forces in Brussels, which is where we are. This is the Battle of Brussels 1700, which historically did happen. The Dutch attempted to seize Brussels and did so successfully. In real life, the garrison forces under the command of Felix Gallas, who we just saw down there, were effectively destroyed, and Gallas himself was killed in action. So we have command of his forces today, and by we I mean me, and of course this is a replay, so I've already done it. But I'm going to go through and, while Gallas is setting up here, I'm going to go ahead and talk about what we got. We've got 3rd Regiment of Militia, Garrison Militia, 6th Regiment of Militia, Garrison Provincial Militia, 5th Regiment of Militia, Garrison Provincial Militia, a Regiment of Pikemen, the 4th Regiment of Foot, Garrison Provincial Line Infantry, and the 3rd Regiment of Foot, Garrison Line Infantry. We've also got the 1st Light Foot, Light Infantry, the Field Artillery Regiment of Demi Cannons, the 2nd Regiment of Horse, and of course Felix Gallas's personal bodyguard, all of which are in splendid uniforms. A little bit of a chilly day. The snow is still on the ground. It is early cold winter in Holland in 1700. But the question today is, how is Felix Gallas going to defend it? How is he going to outdo himself historically? How is I going to help Gallas achieve victory here? Well, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use Spain's massive pieces of artillery here to set up some defenses on this hill. Now, they are facing at an awkward angle, but they are able to adjust the angle of the piece while using it, so they will be able to fire over this hill and directly into it. But most importantly is that these lines of houses on the outskirts of what is represented in Brussels here prevent, and obviously looks nothing like Brussels, prevents the enemy from organizing an attack on the flank of the artillery setting up on this hill. The town itself would break up any larger formations of men and make such an effort futile. So the Dutch are going to have to come down this lane here and this lane here. Gallas is going to deploy his artillery on the hill, but he's going to deploy the pikemen down at the bottom of this hill. The artillery will then be able to fire well over the heads of the pikemen, and the pikemen can prevent any forward assault against the artillery without taking major casualties. Gallas is going to let the light infantry do what they do best here, which is to harass and skirmish with the enemy. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to place this trap that's basically just gunpowder sitting in the ground. And the idea is that when the Dutch forces come across this hill, they're going to blow it. But we'll see how that goes. He's going to deploy the Provincial and Garrison Line Infantry on his right flank over here. That's where you put your best men in early Imperial Warfare in general, but certainly back during this time because this is still mid to late Renaissance era warfare, and traditionally you put your strongest troops on your right because that was your dominant side. And if you had to make a choice about which side to put your best on, you put it on your right. He has the least. He has the least amount of cavalry between the two of them. Galas does at his disposal, but, between himself and Oyerkirk, and the other Dutch general, who is Alexander. Oh, I can't recall his name, but it'll pop up later. Feel bad. Anyway, he's going to deploy the garrison provincial militia up here. In these stone ramparts, the small defenses here, not so much ramparts. These are low stone walls that they would use back in the day to mark territory. As you can see, the opening shots have been fired by the Spanish artillery, and the idea is that they're going to let the Dutch just come over the top of this hill and really give them the beans at close range with as many guns as they can muster here. Except for the 3rd Regiment of Militia, which Galas is allowed to stay inside the town, and they are actually going to hole up here in this farmhouse and try to prevent the enemy from getting into the center of town in quote-unquote Brussels. More obviously representative than it is a simulation. But as you can see, the Spanish encampment back here is under fire by Dutch artillery. They actually have brought themselves twice as many pieces as the Spanish have, and they are giving as good as they can get. They are on a nice, very nice hill here. As you can see, they can fire just over the crest of this hill and bounce it from there straight across into the Spanish artillery, or as their shots are descending, the angle is going to take them straight into the side of this hill, which is where Spanish artillery, and as you can see, it's wreaking some havoc on the pikemen, and there are artillerymen taking some casualties as well, as they have this little duel going back and forth. Spanish artillery waiting for the signal to fire. While this is going on, the light infantry have been caught totally off guard by the Dutch commanding officer. They're going to try to form a line here to set up pikes, but it's too late. It's too late for that side of the company, so they've been caught way out here as the Dutch infantry is going to begin to move up. Now we know, thanks to this, the building captures. The farmhouse is now under Spanish control. It is packed full of infantry ready to, you can see them down in here, going up the stairs. They are ready to launch a sort of ambush on whoever comes down. It's almost this little miniature little tower here because of the nice solid stone walls. We're going to turn to the main action over here. And as we can see, the Dutch infantry has now deployed and is moving up over this hill. Now, the Dutch commander, I believe this is Oyerkirk, has actually spotted the militia here. He just came over the top of the crest of the hill. He saw that they were there, and now his men know. So as they approach this hill, they will be prepared. Meanwhile, there's an undisciplined volley over here from the 1st Regiment of Dutch Militia as they fire into the back of their own cavalry. But it looks like the Dutch are going to truck them over the hill here. Here's where it's going to get... The Dutch are just going to get stuck straight in here. Militia are going to try to get as good as they get, but it's never going to be as good. Spanish cavalry here getting out of the way as the line infantry starts to give a general fire towards yet more Dutch infantry coming over the crest of the hill there. Meanwhile, the Dutch are going to make an error here. They are going to mass a full frontal assault against the pikes here. I don't know what the Dutch are thinking, but they're really going to try to give them beans. In fact, they tried to have a flank against the side that did not work. That cavalry charge had failed. The pike wall is holding. Here come the Dutch infantry. Their charge is broken up by the pikes, so they just throw themselves on top of on the end of these pikes. They cannot get, and they do not have bayonets. They are not equipped with bayonets. And so now, we've just learned that Christian von Waldeck, one of the two commanders, has that's his horse. He's just died. He's just been killed in action by the Spanish pikemen. And so the Dutch are still just disorganized, just general, just melee, really showing poor discipline on their parts, while their own pikemen have been caught out by the Spanish line infantry, which has now managed to flank them as well and create a kill zone. Jesus. Going to take him, finally the order to just charge has been given, so they're going to finally try to move in against the line infantry here. Line infantry still pouring it in. Oh, it's a misfire. Come on, buddy. There you go. I think he missed anyway, but just a general melee now breaking up along the Spanish right. In fact, Felix Galassi is going to see it. General Galassi is going to actually make his way over there to inspire the men to fight on. See here, a general cavalry engagement has broken out actually between the Spanish cavalry here and the Dutch provincial cavalry. Oh wow! Oh wow! 2 artillery rounds just barely missing the Dutch cavalry there. But remember, the Netherlands have the advantage here. The Dutch Republic has the advantage. They have more cavalry. But it looks like the Dutch are done here. They're going to just rout. They've given up. And the Spanish infantry is going to let them go, and they're going to redeploy. Meanwhile, the 4th Regiment of Foot Garrison Provincial Line Infantry, they're going to take cover behind this stone wall here and give a flanking fire, in fact, to the Dutch infantry. Now, that sound you just heard of those horses was that was Hendrik van Nassau-Olekaka's unit. The man is in there somewhere. He's been killed by pikes because he attempted to do a flanking action here and got himself killed in action. And so now the Dutch infantry is going to rout, but that's not the last that we're going to see of them. Don't worry, they're going to come back. They stay under fire by the Dutch artillery and under fire by the Dutch, Spanish infantry. I'm sorry, the Spanish artillery, Spanish infantry. So the Dutch infantry taking fire while they're on the way out. The Spanish cavalry running down a lot of the fleeing combatants. The smoke that you're now seeing over towards the horizon, that is actually the farmhouse where the militia were. A lot of men dying as the farmhouse was collapsed by the Dutch artillery, in fact. Not all of them evacuated in time, but that's what we were seeing over there. And now the Spanish pikes are going to form a square here to resist a charge by the flanking charge by the 1st Regiment of Dutch 4th Provincial Cavalry. Meanwhile, we can see in the background that the Dutch infantry are rallying. Oh God, that was awful. Just the Dutch cavalry cut down there, cut to pieces. They're going to surrender. My God, what are we doing? Bodies everywhere. Luckily for us, Empire Total War is a PG-13 game. Otherwise, this would all be soaked with blood. I don't have any doubt about that. War is never pretty. But as the Spanish line infantry are going to line back up here, the 3rd Regiment of Foot's just going to sort of do a route step, just generally try to reform on the march. But they are actually going to they're going to go first, I think. The 4th Regiment of Foot, Garrison Provincial Line Infantry, they're going to now form up. People just sort of falling into line here, a little bit of a time. 3rd Regiment seems to have gotten their order together pretty well. A little ragged, but it's there. Now they are advancing to go and meet rallying Dutch infantry over here, while the Spanish cavalry finishes off the Dutch artillery. The 1st Regiment of Dutch Foot Line Infantry was actually kept in reserve. They were tasked with actually seizing the town of Brussels, but they never got past the militia. They have sent off the militia. A lot of men, as you can see, in the rubble and on the street here. They've all been sent off by the Dutch regular army. And over here, as we can see, the Spanish have been given the order to fire at will against the rallying Dutch militia, who is now going to actually pull back here. They're going to stay under fire. Spanish do not want them coming back. Meanwhile, General Gallas is going to get personally involved in action here. He's going to lead his bodyguard, and he's going to lead this charge up into some Dutch cavalry, which have actually engaged the backs of his exposed infantry. There's not many left, but they're Spanish infantry exposed on the hill are easy targets. So the Dutch cavalry has been sent off. They're getting cut down, and those that are not sticking around are heading towards the hills. So the Spanish are going to reform here. In quick order. See some movement in the trees, but here's what we're worried about. Holland's finest, the 1st Regiment of Foot Line Infantry. "297 men strong. They are going to offer battle to the Spanish infantry, which we can see is now reforming up. Now this right here, this is early Imperial warfare. If you want to get a taste of what linear warfare is like on the field, this is it. The 3rd Regiment of Foot Garrison Line Infantry, they are actually going to crouch and take cover behind this stone wall. Now, they don't want to engage the Dutch directly this way. They just want to hold this flank and prevent them from escaping this way. Now they're going to get open fire now. It's not a good angle, but they're not trying to destroy the 1st Regiment of Foot. They're trying to scare them away. And as you can see, they've inflicted some casualties. So the Dutch have taken 6 casualties, it looks like, from the number that we can see. We see those casualties here. But they are actually going to offer fire. And as you can see here, the cover of this hill and these, not only like this wooden fence, but the stone fence that the Spanish infantry is behind, offer excellent protection for Carlos's men. And Felix Gallas in personal attendance here. As you can see, the horse is getting upset by the sound of gunfire, but these are disciplined war horses. Now they are going to adjust. The 1st Regiment of Foot is going to adjust. Now they're going to stay under sustained fire from the 3rd Regiment of Foot, but they are going to be met on the field by the 4th Regiment of Foot here. The Spanish are going to move up. You can see some poor drill, but they're going to go ahead and close the distance here as the Dutch open fire because the commanding officer's been killed. But the Sergeant at Arms, the guy that has the spontoon there, he's going to try to organize, but it looks like he's got a little bit of stage fright. The Spanish are not returning fire. Alright, they're going to dress in the front, and finally, the order to fire will be given. The Dutch have had enough. The 1st Regiment of Foot cedes the field. This is the result. 297 men went in, 183 came out. Now this was a pretty resounding victory for Felix Gallas and the Spanish Empire. After deploying 2,698 men to the Dutch 2,516. The Spanish suffered total casualties of 1,266. Either killed or wounded in action and having later died, while the Dutch suffered 1,968 casualties of the same. Looking at unit statistics here, we can see that the Spanish army performed admirably, considering the circumstances. The pikemen in particular were given laurels of victory as they achieved no less than 493 confirmed kills, having lost 264 men. Over half of the pikemen killed in action, and they held their ground. The Dutch failed to reach the Spanish artillery. The Spanish defense held there. Meanwhile, excellent dispatches for all of the garrison line infantry, but in particular, the line infantry that we saw on the right flank, achieving 530 confirmed kills there, having only lost 56 men. A total victory for the Kingdom of Spain, and we're going to see the aftermath of this on the campaign map. Both regiments, or none. Samuel Adams, U.S. statesman, writer, and political theorist. So here we are. Here's the campaign map. Like I said, I'm playing as the Kingdom of Spain. And here's the situational map. Just right. This is where we see the Netherlands, and this is where we see Spanish Flanders. We're going to go ahead and zoom in. This is Brussels. This is where the Battle of Brussels 1700 was just fought. As you can see now, we're into spring of 1701. So that was the end of that winter's campaign. What was left of the Dutch forces fell back to Rotterdam, where they were tracked down and forced to surrender by Felix Gallas. Felix Gallas did earn a promotion for his actions in leading Spain's forces to victory in Brussels, but he also gained a reputation amongst his men for being a little bloody. Lots of Spanish men died under Gallas's command, but nevertheless they were victorious. And now the Dutch army that set off from Amsterdam less than a year ago has now been totally destroyed. Felix Gallas has actually occupied the Hague, Den Haag, here in preparation, anticipation, I suppose, rather, against Amsterdam. He does not have the forces necessary of taking it. He's not capable of staging a siege at this time. He's going to have to wait for reinforcements from Brussels, which are going to be slow to trickle in all the way from Spain. But that is the end of my video. That was the Battle of Brussels 1700 as the Kingdom of Spain versus the United Provinces, aka the Netherlands, aka the Dutch Republic. I recorded this video, just wanted to show this battle and a little bit of the campaign map for a friend of mine who wanted a closer look into Empire Total War, and I hope this gives it to him. So thanks for watching. This has been Silent Stugid. See you next time.